Hello children, in this video we will be learning to derive the quadratic formula using the method completing the square. The quadratic formula is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, and we can convert it into the quadratic formula x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a using completing the square method. The quadratic formula is another method of solving quadratic equations, just like solving quadratic equations using completing the square and factorizing. I will include a quadratic equation in the left hand side of the screen with actual numbers so that it would be easy for you to follow along. So now let's get into the method. In order to solve an equation using completing the square, we have to take all the non-x terms to the other side of the equation. Here, what are the non-x terms? It is minus 6. Non-x terms are the terms that are not associated with x, because here 2x squared has an x in it, and also 4x has an x, but minus 6 doesn't have an x. So we have to take minus 6 to the other side of the equation as plus 6. We can rewrite the equation 2x squared minus 4x equal to 6. Now it's the same in the right hand side as well. What we have to do, take all the non-x terms to the other side. What is the non-x term here? It is plus c. We have to take plus c to the other side of the equation as minus c. It will be ax squared plus bx equal to minus c. Now after this, we have to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1, or that there is nothing in front of x squared. Now in the left hand side, we can see that there is a 2 in front of x squared. So in order to get rid of this 2, we have to factorize the left hand side of the equation. How can we do that? By taking 2 as a common factor. We can take 2 out as a common factor. So what would be remaining inside the brackets? 2x squared divided by 2, it's x squared. Minus 4x divided by 2, it's minus 2x equal to 6. It's the same on the right hand side. The coefficient of x squared is a. The coefficient should be 1. So we have to factorize a from the left hand side of the equation. We can take a as a common factor. So what will be remaining inside the brackets? Ax squared divided by a, it's x squared. And then bx divided by a, it will be bx over a equal to minus c. Now we can simplify the equations further. How can we do it in the left hand side? We can divide 2 from both the sides. We can divide 2 from this side and 2 from the right hand side as well. Here 2 and 2 cancels out. In the right hand side also, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So x squared minus 2x equal to 3. And on the right hand side, we can divide both sides by a, like this. Here a and a cancels out, and on the right hand side of the equation, it will be minus c over a. So we can simplify this equation, x squared plus bx over a equal to minus c over a. So far, what have we done? We have taken all the non-x terms to the other side of the equation and then made sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Now we will be applying completing the square method to both of these equations. In order to apply completing the square method, what we should do is we have to take x out of x squared like this, and then half of the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x here? The coefficient of x is minus 2. We should take half of minus 2, which means we have to divide it by 2. What is minus 2 divided by 2? It is minus 1. Now we should add a pair of brackets like this. And after that, we should square what's inside this pair of brackets like this. Then we can rewrite the rest of the equation like this. And then, very important point, listen up. We should add the square of this term right here to the other side of the equation. What is minus 1 squared? Minus 1 squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is plus 1. We should add plus 1 to the other side of the equation. Now let's see why I added plus 1 to the other side of the equation. First of all, let's expand the left hand side of the equation. The left hand side of the equation is x minus 1 squared. X minus 1 squared is equal to x minus 1 times x minus 1. It is multiplied by itself. Now in order to expand this further, we have to multiply x by x and x by minus 1 like this. And also minus 1 by x and minus 1 by minus 1 like this. So when we multiply those terms together, we get x squared minus 6 minus 6 plus 1. Now we can simplify it further. By adding up minus x and minus x, x squared minus x and minus x is minus 2x plus 1. Now can you see that here and here the two equations look very similar, but the only difference is that in the bottom equation we have a plus 1 here. Now if we add the 1 to this side of the equation will be unbalanced. So in order to balance the equation, we should add the plus 1 to the other side of the equation like this. That is the reason why we add the square of this term right here to the other side of the equation in order to balance the equation. Now if we simplify the equation further, we get x minus 1 squared is equal to 3 plus 1 is 4. Let's do the same thing to the other side as well. What do we have to do? We should take x out of x squared like this, and then half of the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x here? It is b over a. We should take half of b over a, which means that we have to divide it by 2 like this. In order to simplify this, we have to convert this divide sign into multiplication sign. So in order to do that, we need to take the reciprocal of 2. The reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2. We can multiply now. B and denominators multiplied will give us 2a. So the half of b over a is b over 2a plus b over 2a. After that, what should we do? We should add a pair of brackets like this and then square what's inside the brackets. And then after that, we should rewrite the rest of the equation. Minus c over a. Then what do we have to do? We have to add the square of this term right here. What is the square of b over 2a? We have to square the numerator and denominator individually. What is b squared? It's just b squared. And then what is 2a squared? 2a squared is 2a times 2a. It is 4a squared. b squared over 4a squared. We can add b squared over 4a squared to the right hand side of the equation. Now we can simplify this equation further. How can we do that? By adding up the terms on the right hand side of the equation. Here it is minus c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. How can we add them together? First of all, we have to get a common denominator. What is the common denominator here? It is 4a squared. So here we should convert the denominator of minus c over a into 4a squared. How can we do that? By multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 4a. Like this. So the denominator will be 4a squared, and then the numerator will be 4a times minus c will be minus 4ac. Now when we have common denominators, it will be minus 4ac over 4a squared plus b squared over 4a squared. Since we have common denominators, we can add them up together. It will be b squared minus 4ac, and the common denominator is 4a squared. So after simplifying, what do we get? X plus b over 2a squared equal to b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Now in order to simplify this equation further, we can take square roots from both the sides so that we can cancel out the square and square root signs like this. But remember, on the right hand side, we have to put a plus or minus like this, because square roots can be either plus or minus. What I mean here is, let's say that we have 2 squared and minus 2 squared. What is 2 squared? 2 squared is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4. And minus 2 squared is minus 2 times minus 2, again 4. This means that the square roots can be either plus or minus. That's why I put a plus or minus sign in the right hand side of the equation. After that, I can simplify this equation. X minus 1 equal to plus or minus. What is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. Now if we come back again to the equation on the right hand side, what do we have to do? We have to take square roots from both the sides like this. So that here square root and square signs cancel out. And on the right hand side, we should add a plus or minus symbol, because square roots can be either plus or minus. Then we can simplify it further. X plus b over 2a equal to plus or minus. The denominator in the right hand side of the equation is 4a squared. We can take the square root of 4a squared. Why? Because 4a squared is equal to 4 multiplied by a squared. We can take the square root of each of these individual terms. What is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. And what is the square root of a squared? The square root of a squared is a. Like this. The square root of 4a squared is 2a. So when simplified, it will be square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. After that, it's very simple. Let's come back to the left hand side of the equation for one final time. In order to find the solution for x, what do we have to do? We have to take minus 1 to the other side of the equation like this. X is equal to, when we take minus 1 to the other side of the equation, it becomes plus 1. 1 plus or minus 2. So there are two solutions for x. X equal to 1 plus 2 and x equal to 1 minus 2. Here x is equal to 3 and here x is equal to 1 minus 2 is minus 1. In the right hand side the equation, we can take plus b over 2a to the other side of the equation like this as minus b over 2a. X is equal to minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now can you see that here we have common denominators? We can add the fractions together now because the denominators are common. When we add the fractions together, we get x equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So children, here what we got in the right hand side equation, x equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a is what we call the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is one of the three main methods of solving quadratic equations, and in the next video I will be explaining you all to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So children, that is the end of today's video. I hope you understood how to derive the quadratic formula using completing the square method. If you understood the lesson, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more maths, physics and chemistry lessons. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.